The House of the Dead.
Help! Everyone's getting killed!
No! No! No!
What are they?
What is this place?
The 1998 Curian Mansion case happened, I suppose. The project was a threat to humanity itself.
We're humanity's last hope. We can't lose.
The creatures in the House of the Dead series are hostile, genetically engineered organisms created in man's image who attack victims based on instinct. Unlike the zombies and the undead, the creatures were created through scientific methods such as cloning and are often used to cause havoc upon humanity. The origins of the creatures begin in the year 1880, where Dr. Curian, Goldman, and Thornhart's ancestors established a mysterious organization that served as the catalyst of recent incidents that the AMS had previously investigated. The creatures were created with Dr. Curian's DNA bioreactor device to rise above humans. The humanoid type are the most common type, but there are also types that take form of animals. Since they are immature life forms created through the process of research, they have no human-like emotions, and their only disorder is primitive instinct, which is strongly animal-like, attacking anyone who dominates their territory. The experience produced by the bioreactor would later be an influence for Caleb Goldman and Thornhart to create their own creatures for their own purposes on the fate of mankind. Creatures come in various appearances, species, abilities, and weaponry, and are quite dangerous in groups. They also seem to have some intelligence, such as the ability to speak, drive, throwing objects, taking orders from their creators, and even using the restroom stalls. Some creatures are resilient to bullets and still attack, but can still be taken down by shooting them in the head or a weak point provided by the AMS. Here are some of the iconic creatures from the series. Sarrow is a creature with 2 hatchets from the original House of the Dead. He strikes victims with the hatchet and throws it from a distance. David is a basic creature seen in the House of the Dead too. He is highly adaptable, thriving in all environments. His special attack is with his sharp teeth. Ebitan is a revolting and perpetually rotting creature. Accordingly, his resilience is lower than other monsters. Ebitan resides in the water, suddenly leaping from the murky depths to attack his prey, and has multiple variants. Kagio is a mummified creature who prowls the darkness, most dreadful areas. He may look weak, but watch out for his fierce punch. Simon is a creature who has a high durability due to his trained body. His feature is bare muscle, and main method of attack is to strike his victims so hard enough for them to fly off a building. Maybe he destroyed the furniture around the Curian mansion. Samson is a chainsaw wielding creature with a high durability of strength. He blocks bullets with his chainsaw, so it's wise to aim at his hands to disarm him and aim for the head. Murr are snake-like creatures who often infest areas in hordes. Murr attacks by flying at its victims and gouging out their faces with its Marat teeth. Devilons were made from a bat. They usually hang in groups from the ceiling, and if they found human beings, these bats-like creatures will pounce on them. One of Curian's perfect creations, the Hangman, has the ability to control him at will. The fate of mankind will depend on the human race if they decide to continue to fight back or go extinct and embrace evolution.
It's impossible to change a predefined future. Your ordeal has only just begun.
SEGA
Goldman took evolution to be biological adaptability. I consider it to be truly about the human mind.
At the time, SEGA AM2's Virtual Cop became a popular hit in the arcades. This impact has inspired Takeshi Oda and fellow AM1 staff to develop a gun shooting game with horror elements. Originally, Oda-san's boss wanted the team to develop a haunted house type game featuring paranormal elements with painting flying off walls and jars shaking when players enter the museum. However, the idea was scrapped for a more of a realistic approach with zombie-like creatures, as it would be more realistic than fighting ghosts, since AM1 wanted to focus on the game where the enemies continue to approach. Oda watched tons of zombie movies and was very much opposed to the idea within SEGA, as there are no realistic zombie games in the market. Even Capcom's Resident Evil had not been released yet. The creatures and boss visual designs were prioritized for the House of the Dead, as they are the main characters, and each one was created through rough sketches with names of their own as code names in order for the team to differentiate between each creature to avoid mistakes during development. SEGA AM1 manually animated the creatures using motion capture for reference to keep them less human-like as possible. The creature vocals were recorded by 3 people in a small room. Over the years, the creatures have evolved with unique designs and continue to place fear within gamers and arcade goers in later installments.
私と仕事どっちが
分かってくれよ。
どうして
パッと片付けて帰ってくる。
来た
いつより怖い。The House of the Dead 2。
Here are some interesting facts on the creatures of the House of the Dead. The creatures in the House of the Dead series were one of the nastiest looking zombies I've ever seen in a video game. As I mentioned a couple of times before, these things used to scare the soul out of me. I literally ran out the movie theater after seeing a close-up of Cyros slashing the player's face in their POV. Then years later flew by, and I started to appreciate how well designed and detailed they all were, from green mossy looking monsters to a rock and roll freak who looks a lot like Slash from Guns N' Roses. You can tell that SEGA AM1 went all out making these creatures unique in each installment. I wonder what other types of creatures that they will think of next for the next House of the Dead sequel. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you would like to know more about SEGA library of characters and the development of their franchises, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more SEGA lore videos. You can also support me through Streamlabs, as it will help the channel improve with more upcoming videos. Until then, see you next time.